going to do an insight video. The last couple of days, I seem to have sort of like, I've stumbled across a series called Manifest, and it's been talking about sort of like divine consciousness and divine flow and things like that. And the last couple of days, I felt like a bit of a synchronicity with this, because the last couple of days I felt like I've been sort of connecting into sort of like where my own sort of like journey is going and my own path is. And I want to talk about something like the path of illumination, which is like stepping on a path where you start to connect more with the masters and the angels and the guides, but especially with the masters. The path of illumination is this kind of path where you step upon this this path which is about sort of like purpose. It's about sort of like spiritual purpose for all beings, and the masters are what are helping us with this. They're helping with us with giving us insight, giving us knowledge, giving us wisdom, and sort of like one of the purposes like of the ascended masters is sort of like to connect you to your own sort of like spiritual essence, your own spiritual sort of source energy. But it also sort of like there's parts of that where you connect into your soul purpose and your soul qualities that come online. The path of illumination, like in the masters when they walked on the planet, it was very much around sort of being present, being connected to the spiritual sort of like that your spiritual self, your higher self, in the sense that you were still connected to the infinite source, the universal source, like the divine source. And this is what this time's about. And this is what the path of illumination is about. It's about giving us wisdom, giving us understanding to help shift and change the planet on a collective level. As masters, and like I keep saying with guides and angels, they don't work on a single level. They don't work on the spiritual eye, which is they do they do with us. They work with us on on a spiritual eye where they sort of they connect into you to help sort of like bring insight and wisdom to you spiritually, sort of like so you can start to like open up and start to develop and grow. And again, this is like the universal cycle of rhythm. It's very much around this, where it's like the universal law of rhythm is very much like it is like where we start to grow and expand. But it's also happens like on an infinite sort of level where it's about the collective, it's about the infinite spiritual dimensions, the spiritual realities and dimensions. However, as I start to talk about this, the guides are saying that it appears sometimes the masters, I feel like, giving me impression now as I start to talk about this, and I'm starting to talk about this path of illumination, how they work with you on a singular. They do, but they're also saying, like, in one way, nothing is separate, nothing is sort of like on an individual level, it is all an infinite level. So although you may feel like singly you are developing or growing spiritually, there's a greater design to this, there's an infinite design to this. And they're saying that whenever you sort of like work in that way, although you may think it's something about yourself, that there's a bigger sort of like picture, there's a bigger sort of there's a like bigger meaning to that. That's what I want to say, the bigger meaning to that. There's a bigger picture. There's everything that happens, although it feels like a single level, and you may feel like that you're walking on this planet and you're walking your own spiritual path. All spiritual paths lead back to the divine. All spiritual paths lead back to oneness and the infinite flow of the universe, and they all lead back to the infinite design that's going on at the moment. And this is what they're saying. They're saying that there's an infinite design going on for many of us at the moment, as many of us start to awaken to this higher awareness and sort of like become enlightened. And enlightenment to me means enlightenment means like where we're every day we're sort of like we're opening, we're coming to new insights, new awareness, new growth. Again, it's that like the universal law of rhythm, what I want to talk about more and more. And I felt this has come online over the last few weeks, where I feel like there's more and more universal laws. I've talked about them, but I haven't really had a great insight into them. But the more I'm sort of like connecting to them, the more information, the more vibrational frequency of wisdom and understanding comes from connecting to those laws. And this is what the masters are saying: the more that you connect to the vibrations, and the more you connect to the vibrations of like this universal laws of the masters, of the angels, and the more that the wisdom starts to come out, because they're interrelated, they're interconnected. Nothing is separate, and the only way to start to gain that kind of knowledge and insight is to start to connect to the vibrations. Everything is vibration, everything is frequency. This is what I feel has been impressed on me. Everything is vibration, everything is frequency, and the more that we sort of like connect to them, like if you're in your life and there's an ascended master that is that you feel you're drawn to, well, this is because there's a vibration, there's a vibrational frequency within that master's teaching, or that master's ray, that will connect you. And it's about bringing out that sort of soul wisdom, that soul knowledge. And there's a reason why you're being connected to that, but the reason is also bigger than just yourself, because everything is connected, nothing is separate. So in that sense, all teachings and all wisdom are all part of the same design. They're part of the same grand design, and this is what they're saying to me, and this is what I feel the vibration and the frequency is bringing through to me. It's like I come on to do this reading this morning, and I had 2 or 3 goes at it because I wasn't quite hitting the vibration and the frequency. But now, as I'm starting to get into the energy, I can feel it. I can feel that energy starting to come out, and it's really, really sort of important that we understand this, that everything is part of the same whole. And again, this comes back to the universal law of oneness, which is that we're all part of one vibration, one frequency, and each and every one of us has a purpose, that we're here for that reason, that we're starting to play a part for this design to start to unfold, and it's bringing a new vibration, a new frequency to the planet. And this is what this time's about, and this is why we're being sort of directed at this time to start to connect in, and start to open up. This is only going to be a little short video today, of a little short insight, because I feel like this is just some of the knowledge that needs to be passed on. But this is what the path of illumination is about. It's been sort of like connected, it's been illuminated, but it's also becoming one again. It's becoming one with the frequency, the one with the infinite source, the universal source. It's about becoming aligned again, and this is what this time's been about. It's aligning the planet and bringing it back into unity with the infinite sort of vibration, infinite frequency. For a long time on this planet, we've been in 3D dimension, and now we're sort of shifting, moving towards like a 5D dimension, which again is heaven on earth, which is very much around again being connected again and being aligned with the spiritual source and the spiritual energies and the infinite energies and the infinite realities and the infinite teachers and the infinite realms of light. And this is what this time's about, and it's about us coming back into that, to start again, once again, being vibrating as these beings of light, which we were born to. And it's about, again, it's about integrating that higher self with your human self, and walking as one, as a spiritual being in a physical reality, a physical being, like a human being, but walking and being open to that infinite source and that higher self and that infinite consciousness. Everything is about awareness, everything's about frequency, and everything's about vibration. That's the insight for today.